What would you do if you found out your every private moment wasn't so private? Welcome to Truthin, the podcast that unearths the shocking, the hidden, and the downright disturbing. In today's story, one employee's nightmare begins with a secret hidden behind the mirror. Let's dive in.
How much privacy do you really think you have at work? I mean, really?
Yeah.
Ever wonder if that chat by the coffee machine is actually private?
Or, that quick personal call you squeezed in. Was anyone listening?
Exactly. Today, we're doing a deep dive into a true story. A really chilling case, actually. It became this landmark example of workplace privacy gone terribly wrong.
Yeah, it's the kind of story that honestly might make you look twice at the ceiling tiles in your own office.
It really might. Our mission today is to unpack the horrifying details from this case.
And dissect the legal fallout, which was huge. Plus, uncover the big lessons here for everyone, employees and employers.
This isn't just some story we're telling. It's a critical look at where the line is drawn on employer monitoring. What are your actual rights?
Okay, let's get into it. Starts with Sarah. She's 28, marketing coordinator living in Phoenix.
And she lands this job at Pinnacle Digital Solutions. On the surface, dream job material.
Totally. Sleek website, great client list, really modern office. Benefits were good.
And the CEO, Marcus Reynolds, he presented himself as this forward-thinking guy. Talked a lot about a family-like work environment.
Sounds perfect, right? But you know how it is, sometimes the red flags are there early on, just subtle.
Easy to miss when you're excited about a new job.
Exactly. Like during the office tour, Marcus made these slightly odd comments about security and keeping a clean and monitored workplace. A bit weird.
And there was something else too, right? About breaks.
Yeah, he had this strange focus on bathroom breaks, how long people took, made some, frankly, uncomfortable jokes about privacy that didn't quite land.
Okay, maybe just quirky CEO stuff. You could almost explain it away.
You could try. But then Sarah's colleague, Jennifer, she'd been there longer. She said something that stuck with Sarah.
What was that?
Just casually, I swear, sometimes I feel like Marcus knows way too much about what goes on here. Uncomfortably too much.
That plants a seed, doesn't it? Even if Sarah brushed it off at first.
It definitely lingered. And Marcus's behavior, it didn't stay just quirky, it escalated. He started making these impossibly specific comments.
Like what? Give us an example.
Okay, so Tom in accounting. Marcus apparently told him his morning routine took exactly 7 minutes. How would you even know that?
Whoa, okay, that's specific.
Right. Or Lisa from HR. Marcus commented she seemed stressed during her afternoon break yesterday. But Lisa was sure she hadn't even seen him or talked to him.
So these weren't just guesses. It felt like observation. Very close observation.
Precisely. And it started making people really uneasy.
So with those kinds of comments floating around, what really brought it home? Was there a focal point?
Well, that brings us to the bathrooms, which the setup itself was a bit odd.
How so?
Only 2 single occupancy restrooms for 15 employees. So, they were off in lines, waiting.
Right, it'd be awkward maybe, but...
But Marcus seemed to have this incredibly detailed knowledge about it all, like the afternoon rush or noticing certain people took longer breaks than others.
Again, how would he know that in such detail? It's not like he's timing people with a stopwatch outside the door. Or is he?
That's the creepy part. It felt more intrusive than just casual observation. It felt like intimate knowledge of private habits. Really invasive.
Was it just the bathroom stuff? Or other things, too?
Oh, it wasn't just the bathrooms. That was maybe the most obvious thing. But looking back, it fit a pattern.
Okay, what else?
Marcus would somehow reference conversations people thought they'd had privately. In the break room, for example. He'd also seem to know if someone was feeling unwell, sometimes before they even mentioned it to anyone.
That's weird.
Very weird. And maybe the most disturbing part, he seemed to know details from personal phone calls employees made during their breaks.
Okay, hold on. Personal calls. How on earth could he know that? This is starting to sound less like observation and more like something else.
Exactly. That's the question, isn't it? And for Sarah, the answer came crashing down during a really tough time for her. Her family was going through a crisis.
Right, you mentioned that earlier.
Yeah, she was dealing with her mother's health, taking calls from her sister, trying to manage things. Very private, stressful stuff.
And Marcus?
The very next day, Marcus comes up to her. And he doesn't just offer general sympathy. He shows this strangely specific knowledge about her mom's condition.
Oh, no.
And worse, he even references something her sister had said during one of those supposedly private phone calls.
Wow. How did he explain that?
He tried to play it off casually, like, oh, I must have overheard. But Sarah knew. It just didn't add up. The location, the timing, impossible.
It must have been the breaking point when all those little oddities clicked into place.
Absolutely. It formed a really, really disturbing picture.
And then she found it.
Then she found it. A rainy Thursday afternoon, she was waiting for the restroom.
That same restroom.
That same restroom. And she looks up, maybe just idly, and notices this tiny glint of light, a reflection from a small hole in the ceiling tile, right above the door.
And it looked like...
It looked exactly like a camera lens. Her heart must have just dropped.
I can't even imagine. So she went inside.
She went inside, and there it was. A small wireless camera, kind of tucked away, but with a clear view of the whole room. Toilet, sink, everything.
Oh my God.
And then she checked the other bathroom.
Don't tell me.
Identical setup. Same camera, same placement.
That feeling.
Yeah.
That physical sickness, the violation. In a bathroom. It's just profound.
Utterly profound. She said she felt physically sick, fighting panic, just this overwhelming, nauseating sense of being watched, violated.
But she kept her head, right. She knew she needed proof.
She did. Her hands were shaking, but she pulled out her phone and took pictures. Multiple angles, making sure the cameras were clearly visible. She knew she needed undeniable evidence.
That presence of mind under that stress, incredible and crucial.
Absolutely crucial, because what she did next was also vital.
Okay, so she has the photos. What happens then?
Well, that night was basically sleepless. She just dove into research online, privacy laws, workplace rights.
And what did she find out?
She quickly realized this wasn't just like a weird company policy violation. Recording people in bathrooms without consent, that's a serious crime, federal level potentially.
Right. It elevates it immediately, doesn't it? From creepy boss to actual criminal activity.
Exactly. And the law is pretty clear on this. Bathrooms, changing rooms, anywhere you have what's called a reasonable expectation of privacy.
Meaning places you naturally expect to be alone and unobserved.
Precisely. Recording someone there is explicitly illegal. It's a felony. We're talking serious charges. Voyeurism, invasion of privacy.
And depending on how the footage is used, potentially even sexual exploitation charges.
Potentially, yes. Plus, Arizona has its own specific state laws against recording in private spaces, also felonies. So Sarah wasn't just dealing with a bad boss. She'd uncovered serious criminal behavior.
Armed with that knowledge, who did she turn to first? She couldn't keep this to herself.
No way. She confided in Jennifer, the colleague who'd first voiced those uneasy feelings.
And Jennifer's reaction.
Immediate validation. She said, I knew it. I knew something was wrong. I felt like someone was watching me everywhere. It just confirmed Sarah's worst fears.
So they started telling others. Carefully, I assume.
Very carefully. They spoke to a few other trusted colleagues. The reaction was, shock, horror, but also this strange sense of relief. Like, okay, I wasn't crazy for feeling weird.
Did others have similar stories?
Yes. Tom from accounting. He admitted he'd felt so uncomfortable in the office bathrooms, he'd actually started walking to a nearby Starbucks just to use theirs.
Wow. Just to avoid his own office restroom.
Yeah. And Lisa, in HR, she felt this immense guilt, like she should have spotted it or investigated Marcus's weird comments sooner.
Understandable. So the group realized they needed help.
Definitely. They knew this was bigger than just an internal complaint. They contacted an employment attorney, Rebecca Martinez.
And she got it immediately.
Instantly. Grasped the full severity. Her first piece of advice was critical. Document absolutely everything, every weird comment, every suspicious incident. Create a timeline.
And crucially,
do not confront Marcus, don't tip him off, don't do anything that could let him destroy evidence. Preserving the evidence was paramount.
Smart. So the formal case building began.
Yes. A really detailed process.
Yeah.
Documenting all those instances of Marcus's impossible knowledge, logging dates, times, specifics, gathering any physical evidence they safely could.
And reporting it. Who did they go to?
They went wide and simultaneously, local police, obviously, but also the FBI.
Why the FBI?
Because of the potential federal privacy violations, transmitting recorded data, and the fact that Pinnacle did business across state lines. That makes it a federal issue.
Okay. Who else?
The State Labor Department and also the EEOC, the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. They covered all the bases.
That period must have been incredibly stressful. Waiting for the authorities, but still having to go to work.
Immense psychological toll. Imagine having to act normal around Marcus, knowing what you know,
Yeah.
having to use those bathrooms.
Knowing you're being watched, it's sickening.
It is. And adding to the stress, they did some digging into public records.
And found something.
Yeah. It turned out Marcus had been investigated for similar privacy violation allegations before. It wasn't his first time.
Oh, that suggests a pattern. A deeply disturbing pattern of behavior.
Absolutely. And the impact on the employees was severe. Jennifer started having panic attacks. Tom became withdrawn, paranoid. Lisa was racked with guilt. And Sarah, just this constant battle with feeling violated, angry, anxious.
It's trauma. Real trauma happening in real time.
Exactly. It wasn't just about a legal case. It was about their mental health, their sense of safety.
So how did it finally break? When did the authorities step in?
It happened relatively quickly, actually. Within about 2 weeks of the reports being filed, law enforcement executed search warrant.
During business hours?
Yep. Right there in the office, Marcus Reynolds was detained immediately.
And the search. What did they find? Was it just the bathrooms?
Oh, it was so much worse than even Sarah had initially discovered. Cameras weren't just in the bathrooms.
Yeah.
They found them hidden throughout the office, the break room, the supply closet, even in Marcus's own office, pointing outwards, presumably. It was a comprehensive surveillance system.
Unbelievable. Just total pervasive spying on his own staff.
But the truly horrifying discovery was on his computer systems.
The recordings.
Thousands of hours of recorded footage, going back nearly 2 years.
2 years.
And forensic analysis showed a specific, disturbing focus on the female employees in the recordings, suggesting very strongly that there were possible sexual motivations behind the surveillance, which legally makes it even more serious.
That's incredibly disturbing. Was there anything else?
Yes, it gets even darker somehow.
Yeah.
Marcus hadn't just been recording, he'd been compiling dossier.
On his employees.
Detailed dossier, filled with intimate personal information he'd gleaned from his surveillance. Health problems, financial struggles, relationship issues, family crises.
My God, it's like something out of a spy novel, but twisted. Why? Why collect all that?
Control, manipulation, that's what the investigation concluded.
How did he use it?
Subtly, insidiously. He'd drop hints, reference private details in conversations to gain leverage or exert influence.
Can you give me an example of how that worked?
Remember Tom from accounting, who wanted to leave? Marcus apparently referenced details from Tom's private calls about his job search and some financial worries he had. Didn't explicitly threaten him, but the implication was clear. Tom felt intimidated and stayed.
Chilling. Using vulnerability against people.
Exactly. Or Jennifer, when she was having relationship troubles. Marcus offered her weirdly specific advice, clearly based on private conversations he'd secretly recorded. It wasn't just spying, he was weaponizing the information.
That level of manipulation is just evil. So the legal hammer came down hard, I assume.
Swiftly and heavily. Arrested, charged with multiple felonies, voyeurism, invasion of privacy, illegal surveillance, harassment.
Plus the federal charges, right? Because of the data transmission?
Yes, serious federal charges too. The evidence was overwhelming, undeniable. It led to a plea bargain.
What was the sentence?
8 years in federal prison, plus substantial financial restitution to the victims. And crucially, he had to register as a sex offender.
And the company. Pinnacle Digital Solutions.
Gone. Shut down immediately. Completely dissolved.
What about civil action? The employees must have sued.
Oh, absolutely. Significant civil lawsuits for invasion of privacy, emotional distress. They resulted in substantial settlements, though the amounts were kept confidential, which is common.
Any repercussions for anyone else? Like the company that installed the cameras?
Yes, and this is a really important point. The security company that installed some of the equipment, they faced criminal charges too.
Why? Did they know?
Investigators found evidence that they were aware, or at least should have been aware, of the illegal nature of the installations, particularly in the bathrooms. They didn't just get a slap on the wrist, they faced actual charges.
That sets a precedent, doesn't it? Accountability extends beyond just the primary perpetrator.
It absolutely does. It broadens the scope of responsibility. Companies facilitating this kind of illegal surveillance can't just claim ignorance anymore.
But for the victims, prison time and settlements don't just erase the trauma, do they?
Not at all. The emotional recovery is long and complex. Many experienced ongoing anxiety, depression, deep trust issues. A lot of them needed therapy. The symptoms were often compared to those experienced by victims of sexual assault, that profound sense of violation.
The Pinnacle case really became more than just one company's scandal, didn't it?
Oh, definitely. It's considered a landmark case, a stark example of how technology can be abused in the workplace, and how the law sometimes struggles to keep up.
And the biggest lesson, maybe, for employees.
Trust your instincts. That's what comes through so strongly. Sarah and Jennifer felt something was wrong long before they had proof. Dismissing those feelings as paranoia can be dangerous.
Right. If it feels wrong, it might actually be wrong.
Exactly. And know your basic rights. Recording in bathrooms, changing areas, places with that reasonable expectation of privacy, it's not a gray area. It's flat out illegal, a felony.
This case also highlights the importance of employers taking complaints seriously, doesn't it?
Hugely important. If those early vague concerns had been properly investigated by someone in HR, perhaps could years of trauma for multiple people have been prevented? Probably. Proper reporting channels and serious follow-up are critical.
What happened to Sarah afterwards? How did she cope?
It was a long road. She talked about continued anxiety, being hypervigilant, checking ceilings in public restrooms, always wondering. That kind of thing sticks with you.
But she didn't just stay a victim, did she?
No, and this is the inspiring part. She channeled that horrific experience into advocacy, became a powerful voice for workplace privacy rights.
How so?
Speaking at conferences, working with lawmakers to push for stronger legislation, things like requiring explicit disclosure of all surveillance methods, and getting clear, unambiguous consent, turning trauma into action.
That's incredible. What about the others? Jennifer, Tom, Lisa.
They found different paths. Jennifer actually changed careers completely, needed a fresh start. Tom, the accountant who used the Starbucks bathroom, he started his own consulting business, found success on his own terms.
And Lisa from HR.
Lisa moved into employment law. Now she helps other workers who are facing violations and injustices. So resilience, but in diverse ways.
So summing up the key takeaways then, for employees listening.
Number 1, trust your gut. If something feels off, pay attention. Number 2, know your fundamental rights, especially regarding privacy in places like bathrooms.
Right.
3, if you suspect something, document carefully before you act, gather evidence. And 4, get legal advice early before confronting anyone.
And for employers or managers listening.
The message is crystal clear. Violating employee privacy like this isn't just bad management. It's potentially criminal with devastating consequences. Prison, huge lawsuits, total business ruin, lasting reputational damage.
So compliance is key.
Absolutely. Get legal counsel to make sure your policies are compliant. Be transparent about any legitimate monitoring. Get consent when it's required. And critically, create a culture where employees feel safe raising concerns and take those concerns seriously. Don't dismiss them.
Has this case had a lasting impact beyond those directly involved?
Definitely. It's still cited regularly in legal briefs, academic studies, HR training materials. It serves as a potent cautionary tale.
Any impact on the technology side? The companies making the cameras?
Yes. Reportedly, some surveillance equipment companies tightened their policies after cases like this gained prominence. More scrutiny on bulk orders, requirements to report suspicious requests for installations in, sensitive areas.
Have we seen more cases like this come to light since?
It seems so. There's definitely been an increase in reported workplace surveillance complaints. Whether that means it's happening more or people are just more aware and willing to report it thanks to cases like Sarah's is hard to say. Probably a bit of both.
This wasn't just a one-off crazy CEO situation then. Is there a broader pattern?
Well, that 2023 study you mentioned earlier found that around 12% of employees suspected some form of illegal surveillance at their workplace. That's not insignificant.
12%. Wow. Are there common factors?
The study suggested some patterns. Often it involves employers showing an excessive, almost obsessive interest in employees' personal lives. And, disturbingly, surveillance often targets those private areas, bathrooms, break rooms.
Any particular type of workplace more at risk?
Risk factors seem to include smaller to medium-sized businesses, especially where there's strong owner control, less HR oversight maybe. Motivations vary: manipulation, control, financial pressures, or, as we saw with Marcus, sometimes it's driven by darker, voyeuristic impulses.
And technology makes it easier now, right?
Much easier. Cameras are tiny, cheap, easy to hide. Digital storage is vast. The temptation for someone with bad intentions is, unfortunately, probably higher than ever.
So Sarah's story. It's grim, but also empowering in a way.
It really is. It's a stark warning, but also a testament to the power of speaking up, of demanding basic rights. It hammers home that workplace privacy isn't a perk. It's fundamental, and violating it has real, severe consequences.
So for you listening right now, the message is clear. Trust that feeling in your gut. Document everything if you're worried. And don't be afraid to seek legal help. Your rights are protected by law, despite what someone like Marcus Reynolds might think. Your intuition could be the most important alarm bell you have.
And it leaves us with a bigger question, doesn't it? As this surveillance tech gets smarter, smaller everywhere, what's our collective responsibility here? As individuals, employees, employers, as a society? How do we draw and defend those lines of privacy, especially in the modern workplace, which seems to become more monitored by the day? Where do we go from here?